Hello there, this is AJ Chimera, and we're going to do a little bit of a tutorial on how to triplane in the Seamoth, or multi-axis movement, as it would be technically known as. So the first thing we need to do is build a Seamoth. We're actually in a really good, creative, glitchless spawn. Should have just turned it into a run, but never mind. So we build our Seamoth. In the speedrun, you then want to kind of push this closer to the Seamoth, because you then want to be able to immediately pick this up. Now the thing with triplaning, as I personally like to call it, is you're moving 3 angles at once. So normally in the Seamoth, you move straight ahead, and it goes like 10 meters per second, I think. So if we look at this, you know, it's fast. It's about the same as a Seaglide. Slightly faster, it might be 11. But if we then press space at the same time, we go slightly faster. This is the easiest form, biplaning. Just doing 2 axes of movement at the same time helps you go much quicker. It works if you're going sideways, it works if you're going down. Oops. The down one takes a bit getting used to, so forwards and then down. You then need to tilt up in order to actually go in a straight line. You can see our elevation is pretty much the same, you know, 99, 100 meters, thereabouts. So it's remaining the same. Same with if we go plus, or if we go space rather. So even though I'm pressing up, you can actually then descend and still go forwards along your direction of travel faster. That's what you're aiming to do. Now 2 at a time is easy, comparatively. Working in 3 is the difficult thing. So we want to get over to that rock over there. So holding left, space and forwards, we can do that. And we do that at about 19 meters per second instead, much quicker. If we head back to the lifepod now, since that's conveniently quite far away, the key is to keep where you're aiming in the top left corner. If you're pressing A, W and space, top left corner, that'll get you there. And then it's a bit of a feel for where exactly you want to be holding your mouse for the tilt. Because if you tilt too far down, so the limitation is if you tilt too far down, it starts to spin. And it just does that. Which is fine if all you're after is going down, it must be said. You can just do that. I find it disorienting. I personally prefer to just swap it to, instead of pressing space, I'll press control, and I just do this instead. So that way, I'm going down at a sharper angle. That's useful at the Lost River entrance. So that's the basics of triplaning. We're now going to take the trip all the way down to the PCF. We don't actually have the tablet to build, but we can always go grab one. Head back to the lifepod. Now the thing to remember is that if you have it in the top corner like that, you won't actually get to where you're going. You do want to have it about there. Remember that you're usually playing at a 16:9. You've got to imagine a square on your screen instead, like an old 4:3 monitor. So let's hop out. Let's just make all the things we need, and we'll do a faux creative glitchless run. So we're going to need the hatching enzymes. We're going to need 2 blue tablets, and we're going to need a purple tablet. You can do creative things with making them at a different point in the run, if you so wish, but we're just going to do it simple. That's the Sea Emperor. That message plays as soon as you get hold of a blue tablet. Now we're going to head towards the Lost River. It's the same entrance that's used in Survival Any Percent, so I have not done this for a while, but I have a rough idea of what landmarks to use from where I was. So we want to go past Lifepod 6 there. We want to be going past the mushroom forest. I usually aim to have an elevation of around, I think it's around 80 to 90. I should be able to go past this this large mushroom tree here. I think I'm going slightly the wrong angle. Again, it's been quite a while since I've done one of these runs. Yeah, you bump against them every now and then. You can see the bulb brick off to the right there. It does become difficult to see landmarks too far away. So it is just a case of getting a feel for what you should see out the front and the angle that you should be hitting. So now's where we descend. And I guess I'm just going to do the pirouette descent, I guess. Just point straight down as much as we can. Because it should be virtually the same, I think, as if I swapped to pressing control instead. Not sure. It doesn't feel as good. But now we're in the Lost River. And we want to continue at a decent descent rate. You want to back it off so you're not descending too quickly. We're kind of going a bit angled here still at the moment because I haven't got a good entrance. So you want to almost be at the tipping point, but not quite, because we are going a steady descent. But we're not wanting to descend too sharply because otherwise we'll get too close to the floor of the Lost River, and we want to just have a nice straight line, basically, like a good diagonal, a good steady diagonal all the way down. Normally I'd pass close to that pyro coral down the bottom there, but this is fine. And now we come across Casper. And here's where ideally you want to swap. Whoops, wrong way. Pressing the wrong buttons. And now we will do a little bit of a spiral here, because the way down here is not kind of smooth, so to speak. We're basically going down on a weird angle here. Hopefully missing the ceiling of the tunnel. Sorry, oops, no, out of practice. But now we can go straight across here. If you want to look at how the route should look, then check out mine or Aquamaster's top runs on the leaderboard. That will show you the route much better. This is more just a simple tutorial. So pressing control again to descend sharper, alternate back to space, and now once again, this is the easier form I find. The other one throws me off a bit. Crossing the lava lakes, the line up there is to kind of go with that sonic deterrent there, and just follow it across. And get towards the entrance. Ideally you want to come into the entrance fairly high. You don't want to go too far down, because when you get here you want to jump out, swap to your Seaglide, and then momentum carries you most of the way. So you're not running along, because the Seaglide is faster than running. Jumping while running is not faster in this game, realistically. The only thing you jump there is ideally you want to jump onto the first little pedestal there, and then to the next, just because it describes more of a straight line. Jumping is also not slower, it is just virtually the same. It is slower if you're going downhill though, because then you've got further to fall. And in we come, and now we have the cutscene with Big Momma, which we are unable to skip in this game mode because we are doing glitchless. Otherwise there's a variety of ways to get in instead. So we have to wait until a certain point in her speech, when she says, they played alone. There we go. As soon as she starts saying played, then you can get going.
Now they're gone. And instead,
Now you need 2 ion cubes at this point.
We are curious whether you swim with the current.
There's the first, and the animation plays. We're not able to overlay it, because again, this is glitchless. And head down for the second one. There is the fancy inventory overlay or crafting overlay that you can do down here, where you would build a moon pool and a fabricator. We're not going to bother with that. Come down here, grab the second one. You'll notice that the hotbar down the bottom is different to how you first start the game. Normally you would reassign only the mobile vehicle bay early on. You would take the time just to do that. while you're waiting for the speech to finish up top, you can arrange it in a different order, just to make it easier. Place the second cube. We're going to try and go up fast, because you can shortcut some of her movement. Yep, got it. So she's now moving towards the exit. Instead, if you get closer to the sand, she moves up here, and that's much quicker. And when she does that, it's marginal whether or not the crafting down here works out faster. It still does slightly, but it's very marginal. Wait for her to move to blow away the sand. As soon as she starts blowing, the collision actually disappears.
They could not hear me.
That's not considered a glitch, because the collision in the game literally disappears as soon as she starts blowing the sand away.
In vain to take.
It looks weird, but it is what it is. You don't have to wait for it to be completely clear. Now here we want to grab this cue ball that's always there and fire it towards the surface. Swap to the Seaglide.
With the passage you've opened,
Get closer and do the same.
But first they must feel the time is right.
Come up around
And
here.
break free of their shells.
And then aim
This
towards
is what the others could
the
not
gun
force from me.
in order to create
To you, I give the secret
the platform.
willingly.
And now we can cure ourselves. If we can find where the cure ball went. Ah, here it is. It was around here somewhere. It allows us to overlay this unskippable cutscene with the unskippable crafting time of the rocket platform. There's a little delay that we had in finding this, so we're probably not going to sync it up too well with the platform actually finishing. Ideally, there we go, yeah. Ideally when it splashes down like that, you want to be ready for it. Because then you can jump up without as much of a dolphin dive, or without doing the ladder climb. Now we head down into the alien moon pool, which I'm a bit too far removed from. Here we go. And now we do the ramp run. There's fancy jumps that you can do running up the ramp room, jumping from platform to, or ramp to ramp, jumping up, sprinting, and jump. And you can shortcut this a bit. I think he actually meant to go the other way, but never mind. It's been a while. Yeah, because then you can shortcut that jump too. When you're first practicing, or when you're out of practice like me, it's just to play it safe. You'll save a few seconds once you really grind it down by having more efficient movement there. This one's an easy shortcut. But otherwise you will kill a PB quite easily if you miss a jump. And now we can disarm the quantum... what is it? Quarantine enforcement platform. The gun. And we run out. Jump. And falling down. And now it's just a lot of waiting because we go out and finish off the rocket platform. We're not going to finish doing that. I hope this has been helpful. Hopefully you can practice triplaning, get a good run, and I look forward to verifying your runs on the leaderboards.